I mean, it simulates to what we see over there on Main Street, with the bottoms and the highs, like as you were saying, the belly hills of Skid Row, right? When you go down to the bottom, it's a whole different story. But back in '92, the recession was at its all-time high. But this year it's higher, but at the time it was at the all-time high, and probably this and that was emerging. All of a sudden, the case of Rodney King pretty much exploded right when the cops were free, right? They say they're not guilty, right? So what happened over on Florence and Normandy? And that's how it started. The uprising. Because four of those cops were free, right? They set them free after the beating of Rodney King. So I wanted to just remind you, 20 years ago, it was a pivotal period, a breaking point of how poverty, capitalism, and racism could come together and create such grief among people. All right, so I just wanted us to bring that up and try to refresh your memory. So next Saturday and Sunday, there will be a unity rally over on Florence and Normandy. All right.
Thank you, Brother Omar. Yes. Yeah, I want to think about the Skid Row. It's insanity that we have in this country, the richest country on the planet. So far, that's what in the feeling across the planet. And it's insanity that we have thousands and thousands of people, public space buildings that they don't use. And we have so many in the Skid Row over there. That is our responsibility as a citizen. We have to respond to this. So I strongly suggest to go with the brothers over there and make a point that this is our problem too. Many of those people over there are veterans from Vietnam, and they just give the back to them. So please, please.
Speak to the assembly.
So please, make this a priority. We cannot have those brothers over there in the street when we have millions of square feet around over there, empty space, building empty.
Over the empty buildings.
The government don't use those places. Like the police, rampant police, they don't use. Why we don't fix this place to fix to those people over there? So it's our responsibility as a citizen to respond. But these people don't have a voice over there. So we must unite our force, to make this point. Use those empty spaces over there to home these people around there. Another point that I want to make is something that they use now. It's the racist thing. We have sometimes they're fighting black and Hispanic over there. We have to point it up, that this is something that is being framed up. So to push it against those communities, against each other, We have the same common problem. The problem is this 1% that skim everything from the society and don't give any chance for us to develop new forms of ways to live better in this society. So please support this now over there. And with respect to the black people, we have to recognize them, that they are the leaders in the past. They lead the women rights across the planet. It was the black people who stood over here at the beginning. We owe so much to them. When they broke the silence, for the slavery here, they broke the silence across the planet. So it's very important to recognize the great input that the black community have done for the whole planet around. Don't undermine, their good that they have done to humanity.
We're here! I'm queer, bitch! It's big, let's sing that shit! I'm here! We're queer, bitch! It's big, let's sing that shit! Now that's a dress!
Wait, does anyone have anything to speak out about what we're going to do tonight?
Yes.
Skid Row.
Yes.
Yes. Would you like to speak out? Any experiences about your brushes with homelessness? I know a lot of you are having them. I am myself. If we could hear that, that'd be great.
Keep your clothes on.
No. Take them off.
Hey, now.
In this discussion,
Only inside the
let us
tent.
forget
That's okay.
the issue of safety of women. That is part of the very important angle that our young sister here raised when she introduced the topic. The safety of women during this solidarity action of Occupy LA on Skid Row. She also pointed to the question of patriarchy. Yes, we are focused on the matter of homelessness. We must stand with our brothers, our sisters on Skid Row. I think Occupy LA took a very, very significant step when we had the resolution that every Friday after our GA, we go to Skid Row to sleep on the streets with our comrades in that part of town. But we must also take into serious consideration the question of the safety of women. We have been told that there have been incidents of catcalling, disrespectful acts to young women during these occupations. I will want some discussion to be focused on those issues too, as we have this discussion this evening.
I have something to say about this, if you don't mind. Now we're sitting here and we're pushing the safety of women and how vulnerable these women are. Now I'm getting real tired of how hard we're pushing this. I walk down the street, me of all people, I walk down the street and I watch women freak the fuck out. Okay, we have pushed this fear element enough. No, we have pushed the fear element enough on women. I'm serious. How hard do we have to push it that women need to be so scared that they can't come out of their cubby hole? No, I'm serious. This is for everybody. We do not, like, you're pushing this. If we're going to go out there and we're going to worry about somebody's safety, we need to worry about everybody's safety. It doesn't matter if they're black, white, orange, green, purple, or yellow. It doesn't matter if they're male or female or what their flipping gender preference is.
So it's like saying, let's take care of each other.
Exactly. Everybody.
We do not, this is a non-violent movement, and the best way we communicate is not necessarily to raise our voice.
Well, maybe I was trying to be heard.
Let me finish. There are a lot of issues that are involved in this matter. Yes, the security of everyone, but we are not going to forget the questions that have been raised by the women who are part of this movement. If not universalism, from my aspect, you can understand that I'm into universalism, I'm into internationalism, I'm into wholesomeness, everything that you have talked about. But the question of security of women, and if there are children involved, we shall emphasize that first, and then talk of the security of everyone. I do not see how that takes away from our movement that we are saying there are the issues of patriarchy, and that some young women who come to this occupation on Skid Row on Fridays in the evening are saying we must please look at this issue. There is nothing wrong in talking about that. It does not in any way diminish Occupy LA to say that we are talking about the security of women. Brother, that is not to say that we are not considered. My brother, you are not going to categorize me. You are not going to categorize what I am saying. And we are not saying that we are not going to be concerned about the security of everyone. But we shall also seriously focus on the security of the women and address the question of patriarchy during our occupation on Skid.
Stephanie's on stack.
Okay.
Get on stack, my man.
So, I appreciate what I'm hearing from both of these gentlemen here. It's absolutely right. There is an epidemic of harassment of women here at Occupy. And that is something that we need to own. That is something we need to be aware of. And everybody here needs to step up in that regard. Also, though, I absolutely agree and appreciate the idea that this is not just about telling women you're being harassed, you need to be afraid, and need to depend on the men around you to protect you. We are here to empower every person that's here. We are here to be responsible for everybody that's here. Be responsible for each other and to each other.
hold each other accountable, and if somebody holds you accountable, say, you're right, I need to check my privilege. I need to be more respectful. Maybe I should be watching my own behavior right now. Be respectful and caring to each other in these interactions. But absolutely, yes, that's true. We do have an epidemic of harassment that's unacceptable. But we are concerned about the safety and the empowerment of everybody in this community, not just any one particular group.
Yeah.
Woman power!
Yeah, estrogen!
Anybody else on staff? James.
I have an issue. You guys are arguing about the safety of everybody, but the people who really needs to be here they're over there. They're not paying attention. So you're wasting your work. Because they're not paying attention, and they're the ones who need to be paying attention. Like somehow we have to address that problem over there. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I feel that as a community though, if we could have a certain like guideline in how we treat that situation, so like if you hear like a male cat calling a woman, or if you hear anyone disrespecting anyone, there's the kind of thing that like you can either sit there and just see it happen and not do anything, or you can speak up and do something about it. So whether or not people choose to participate in this discussion to me doesn't matter, because the fact that we're having that discussion is showing that we're not going to tolerate that anymore, and that we're going to create a kind of environment which we want to see how we act. So, I just want to put that out there.
I just want to put an idea out there that when and if we do see someone catcalling someone or disrespecting someone, it'd be pretty cool to call a mic check and explain what the person just did.
Sure.
Yes. Group pressure.
I want to mention one more thing as far as the situation with our sisters is concerning this matter. We also have to check out racism and police brutality within the community of Main Street. I think that's another thing that is pretty much the most prevalent issue. You know, as far as Skid Row is concerned, you know what I mean? Like, I used to live in Skid Row back in 2006, and the police down there will ticket you at every petty, incident that you do. Like, when I cross the street when there's no cars, right on 5th Street, a cop will appear out of nowhere and give you a freaking ticket. Just because you're crossing the street when there's no cars in sight. You know what I mean? So not only that we have to respect our sisters, but we also have to keep an eye on cops that are doing their thing to pretty much write tickets, write citations, do whatever they want to pretty much, to raise their salary. You know what I mean? So not only that Skid Row is a place, where most people come to live without a house, but also it's also a casino for LAPD to do their ticket writing. So remember that. That's all I gotta say.
So I'm on stack now. So the way that I see it is that this whole movement is about redefining community, redefining the way that we interrelate with each other. Okay? And the old paradigm tells us that if you're a woman, you're supposed to worry about woman issues. If you're a black male, you're supposed to worry about those issues, right? Community involves each and every one of us. As a member of this community, if anybody is offended or treated inappropriately, I feel it is my obligation as a member of that community to speak up and say, hey, could we please rethink the way we just said that, or we just interacted with that person? And I do that out of love for the person that I'm checking and the community that they're participating in. And the reality is, guys, women are half the world and do 2/3 of the work. More than. And if we cannot get on board with that and respect, then I don't know where we're headed, guys. If we want people to show up We have to act with respect, and it begins with each of us individually. It begins with me. And so I just want to say that out loud. That it's not about right or wrong. It's just about love and community.
Well, you know, brothers, it ain't the world is screwed up. It's the people live.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to say anything?
I don't know. I just gotta say something. You know, hate me if you can, brothers and sisters. Do you think that harassment and irresponsibility comes from people consuming too much alcohol, too much drugs in their system?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
Depends on the person.
If
It
you're
depends on
gonna
the person.
If you're gonna drink, you know, to the limit. If not, then you know, whatever. Just respect and control.
Well, you know, brothers and sisters, we got to look out for each other because they don't nobody else going to look out for us.
Brothers and sisters, I believe there is something that we have to redefine over here about the movement. You know, some people believe that the movement when we are go to some actions over there is to make a propaganda for a smoke or for drinking in public. You know, no, I believe that that is something aside. We are not against the thing. We are against the coercion of the freedom to do something. But at the same time, we have to respect our movement. You know, we have to respect when we're going outside, not to give propaganda to only one thing. It's one point over there, like in Santa Monica when we were over there. You know, we were the point over there because those people were spraying the kids over there in the college. But some of the brothers over there start to smoke in public over there. No, it's not the image that we want to provide to the community, you know. Definitely, we have to center our attention in the focus in the thing that we want to do. And the main thing that we do over here is to fight against the 1% that oppress in all the ways to the society, the minimum society. And we have to focus in the thing. It's going to be really hard for us to educate everyone with respect to the women, you know, especially that we don't have control of everyone of us over here. Definitely, the sister respect. We have to make something kind of commitment, you know, in front at the beginning of this meeting. There's some protocol in which how we can treat them and respect them, because they deserve respect. But we cannot take responsibility for every single action that somebody do over here. We have a lot of new people, so start to focus, concentrate in where the source of the problem is coming. You know, from the education that we have in the system that is corrupt at this moment. So that's what we have to concentrate. It's trying to explain to people that this the system that is corrupt that we have to fight. And that's the inspiration for all the violence that we have against each other and against the sister women too. So please concentrate your attention at the beginning, make a protocol to respect them. And they deserve all the respect that we need. But don't make the things that are going to as a number one priority, because the other priority is the big one over there, the corruption that comes from the front over there, in all levels.
Thank you. All right, so we have 2 more people on stack.
I just wanted to comment to the question that was kind of generally posed about the role of substances and harassment. Absolutely, substances, whatever they may be, you know, decrease your inhibitions and you're going to say more stuff. I don't give a flying fuck, excuse my language, but I don't care what you're on. That behavior is not acceptable. And I don't want to hear, oh, I'm sorry, I'm just drunk, I'm not, you know, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. That behavior is completely unacceptable. And if you cannot handle yourself on whatever substance, then you should not be using that, at least in public, or have a buddy or something. Be more responsible with how you use your substances.
Exactly.
Because any kind of behavior that makes somebody feel unsafe or uncomfortable or reduces them from being a person to an object, that is violence. Your words can be violent. And if you're using a substance as an excuse to be violent, then you really have something wrong going on, that you need help. All right?
Awesome, sister. Thank you.
I just
want to reinforce something that James said. He was talking about he feels like it's his obligation. Definitely. My feeling is
Hey, Deli!
if people are being disrespectful, people are being abusive, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. If you're just standing there and being quiet while shit's going on, you're part of the problem. And even if there's no female around and there's a group of guys being unrespectful to females, that's the time to step in and say, no, this shit doesn't go. The point is that's when it gets reinforced. It gets reinforced when there's a group of guys around and they're throwing off their bullshit and they're feeling like they're all part of the same group. That's when it gets reinforced that it's okay to pull out this crap. That's when it needs to get put down on. You're in a locker room situation, bust those assholes.
Thank you. Love you.